Welcome back, everybody. I'm Danny de Hek, otherwise known as the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. Well, today's live is going to be a big one. I've received a cease and desist letter from a Florida law firm. They are acting for Chris Delgado, I can't even say his name, Delgado and Goliath Ventures. They are demanding that I stop calling Goliath a crypto Ponzi scheme. But here's the problem. Instead of showing proof that Goliath is a real business, they have sent me threats of legal action. So this live stream, we're going to look at three things. We're going to read parts of the 10-page letter, read my full written reply to the lawyers, go through the blog that I've published, and you can see everything for yourself. This is all about transparency. If they want to silence me, they'll have to answer the hard question. So let's get started. Now, I have a feeling that my hearing's not working too well here, so I'm just trying to figure out, make sure I'm nice and sound. Everything's going good. Good, sounds working. I've got a full chat room and I've got a full audience. Now, everybody is involved. I'm going to explain a few fundamental things first. Now, we've been working with a team of Avengers, and also I've been doing a deep dive investigation on Goliath and their company. And we've also been gathering intel, and currently we have persons of interest. So you'll see these people here. Now, we're not alleging that any of these people are guilty of any fraud, but we are actually alleging that Chris Delgado is actually committing fraud. And we've got overwhelming evidence, but we're currently investigating these people that you see on the screen here. Obviously, we're always looking for intel, so don't hold back if you've got any intel that you can share with us. Just for shits and giggles, this is an old picture here of Chris on a cruise ship. And you can see him standing here and he's got a little bit of a roll. Wow. Whoops, not that one. That one. He's had some work done. Just thought I'd put that out there. Let's have a bit of fun along the way. So as you can see here, this is a blog that's on my website. If you go to my website, you'll see that we've actually published quite a bit of content on Chris. So if you come down and you're looking at the article and you click on Chris's name, you will actually find the whole series that we've done on Chris. So the first one, we showed a contract that he's got people to sign. He's claiming that he's paid out over $100 million worth of dividends in just 2024. This is his words, not mine. They also have made claims that they've had 1,500 investors, which is jaw-dropping when you listen to what their lawyers from Florida have said. Now, just want you to focus on the fact that Goliath Ventures, Inc. has actually closed their company down in Florida. And now they have Florida lawyers representing them. Does that sound right to you? Not really. But anyway, then we had audits. We've had Matt Burks, and we exposed BlackBlock, and also another company called Web Wealth MD, which stands for Wealth Management Doctors. And then we've had the bookkeeper that was also been going since 2019, had also shut down her company a day before Chris shut down Goliath. I can't remember the last name now. Was it Goliath Ventures? And she's now reopened her company in the state of Wyoming as well, which isn't actually illegal if done correctly. And that's what we're scrutinizing. So I went to bed last night and we heard that we would be receiving a cease and desist letter. We also heard things like they are watching us on their big screen in Chris's $8.5 million house. So if we go into Chris here, we can actually see, if we go into where property, we can see that Chris has actually recently bought 3 properties. We don't know who they're for. We can only assume. But we have found that most of these properties actually have mortgages tied to them, which was quite interesting. So these are the properties here. So some of them have just been purchased recently. So I don't know where all the money's coming from, but you get the idea that something here. So we've got tons of information, and we actually currently have a lot of photos, a lot of PDFs, a lot of contracts, and a lot of information that's coming in. However, we want to get stuck into the writer reply. I've got a lot of Avengers in the chat room at the moment, so thank you very much. It's good to see, and we're hoping that we're going to get a bit of a heckler in the audience, which has been quite, is it prolific in here in the past? And his name is actually, whereabouts are you? Now, he probably won't be that noisy now. JN. So when JN turns up in the chat room today and starts walking like a canary, he's meant to be the biggest promoter of Goliath Ventures Inc. in Canada. And we've researched him, and we're looking forward to him being in the chat room in the not too distant future. We've also found out he's Sydney, I think his daughter's name is, and she's currently looking for work. So if you know anyone who's looking for work, who let us know. But when you come in here again, JT, what's his name again? I've forgotten his name already. JN, just remember we found out who you are. And also a lot of people have been trying to hide their identities and the like. But I just got to bring up one other really funny fact before we get going, is at the meeting that we showed where Christopher was launching the strategy for the whole company, they advised everyone that was now a director to set up their own LLC companies, which means that each of these individuals theoretically now have their own company, but Chris is handling all the money. So that's quite good. So that means that if you guys want to engage with me, you'll need to do it under your own company. I think that's making sense. I'm getting a bit off track, and I'm still a bit tired because I've been working hard on this one. But let's get into this, and I'll make it so you can read it. I hope you like the response. So first of all, we'll bring up the screen here, and we will make it just about big enough so I can fit you in here. That should do it nicely. So you should be able to read this. And I've spent probably about half an hour preparing this document. So there's that document. So first of all, let's have a quick look and see what we got on my desk this morning when I come in. So first of all, we received, Dear Mr. de Hek, the normal standard. Now, I've got a wall of cease and desist letters, which you can't see over here. And to be honest, this is just a gag writ. So I've been, somebody's tried to sue me in the New Zealand High Court in the past for a $3.85 million lawsuit claiming very much the similar sort of stuff. And they filed a discontinuance at the end because there's no way in hell that Christopher wants to be in a courtroom. These claims that they're making are just ridiculous. And the fact that they've used a Florida law firm is even weaker. They really needed to instigate with a New Zealand lawyer if they really were serious about doing a defamation lawsuit. And I haven't actually said anything that isn't open source intelligence, meaning I've said in all my videos that they have actually landed on their own sword. I'm using their own documents to do my research, and I'm asking the questions and not getting the answers. I haven't made anything up. So all the claims that they've gone through here, and you can pause it and read it, or you can go to the blog and download it and have a read yourself. It's now public information. You can see that they've gone through here. Now, this is quite ironic, and not really. Most people I chase down, and I've been doing this for 5 years, and rather than answering the questions, they try to get legal to do gag writs. And there's currently a big study going on in New Zealand, funny enough, and they're using my last case as a test case. A university's doing a paper on it. Also, they're actually literally trying to get a law changed. So these companies that come in with big money who keeps throwing money at people who can't defend themselves, they're going to make a law change to protect people like myself who are just journalists, which is quite ironic. But what it meant last time is we won this case. and they didn't have a leg to stand on. And every New Zealander is entitled to fair representation. So if I get a cease and desist letter from another country, it's water of a duck's back. So to be honest, and I'll be really honest, I haven't actually read this. I didn't need to read this. I went through and skimmed through it and went, oh yeah, I've seen this before. A 10-page cease and desist letter is meant to intimidate the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. And when you read through this, this is another sword. This is literally giving evidence. And we've just put together a pretty basic reply, which really is kind of laughable. And it just shows who we're dealing with. This Christopher is honestly, this is just like playing with somebody in the playground at school. This is not a real company, and even their lawyer's letter's a joke. So sorry about that, legal firm. I'm not going to be intimidated, but let's read this and try to listen to what I get thrown at. And why would a company who is legitimate treat people like an investigative journalist who's asking the basic questions of proof where they're generating the money? Now, if you've just tuned into this, what they are alleging, if the minimum investment is $100,000, so you give Chris $100,000 and he's going to take it away, and if you compound all the interest that they pay you on a monthly basis, at the end of the year, that $100,000 is going to earn you $60,000 return. That's what we've kind of worked out. And I could be a bit wrong, so do your own mathematics. So he's turning $100,000 into $160,000. Now, we've had a lot of people go, oh, it's not a scam because I take my money out. Every Ponzi scheme works the same way. Ask Mr. Murdoch, who made off with a lot of people's money. There's no proof of any income. So I've come along and looked at the company and thought, their website's crap. You know, they're spending money on Learjets, Rolls Royces, driving away in Lamborghinis. Well, I think it was a Lamborghini, it could have been a Ferrari. You know, Mykonos holidays, all sorts of things. So just before we get started, let's have a wee look at the 24-year-old girlfriend who Chris is currently going through divorce proceedings. And let's just have a wee look at her Instagram. And let's have a look at where the money's going. So I don't even know the name of this country. I might have to turn the sound down. But this is a jet. And I don't know this girl from a bar of soap. But here they are flying in, helicopter, nice resort, nice house. And these are the holidays that she's been going on. And I started watching these videos of his girlfriend. Well, I presume it's his girlfriend. I can only make assumptions and there's Chris having a wee dancing session, having a party, good time. I don't know if he had lipo then, and these are the sort of parties that they're going to. Anyway, and I'm just documenting all these. So if you're wondering where your money's going from, she needs to eat a little bit more. Just saying that. Now, don't forget, Chris has accused me of being jealous. It's all right, mate. I won't say, but so what trip was this? So we're going to have a look at a few others before this, because this will be this profile will be turned to private soon. Is my sound all right? I just sound very quiet today. I think it's maybe so there's Chris there in his deck chair. You might have seen that. And then that was the first country. Now we're going to Italy. More champagne. Is that caviar? I haven't seen caviar before. I'm only a poor. Oh, there we go. There's one of the boys there's the office. And there's another boat. And there's Chris. And look, they've even got themselves a saxophone player, living the dream. So this is Italy. So now we're going to aren't these reels just wonderful? There we are. Yeah, they haven't. I will turn the sound up, but it might be copyright. Let's have a wee listen. Oh, there she is. Isn't she gorgeous? Look at that. Pure luxury. How can somebody afford pure luxury? 3 years ago, Chris didn't have any money. Well, not real money. So that's cool. Now we're off to Croatia. And there's the boat. I think we get quite a few. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 beautiful, glamorous photos. If you're wondering where your money's going and what it's doing, here it is. Living the dream. Okay. Oops, she's forgot to put her pants on. And that's Chris in the background out there, I think. There she is. I did notice that when I went through her Facebook page, she didn't have any photos of Chris on there. Maybe she doesn't want her personal life getting in the way of her business career. Who knows? So there we go. More fun. I'm going to keep going because I just want you guys to understand where your money's going. And we also, all we really want Chris to do is to prove that he's regulated. We've got it all in the cease and desist reply anyway. So we're going to have a look at that. There she is. She's looking glamorous tonight. Oh, I'm so jealous. Oh my goodness. Look at the lifestyle. There she is. Phone up there. It's like these Instagram models. There they are. Another motel. So now we're going to Pebble Beach. Let's see what we've got there. So Pebble Beach. There she is again. More selfies. Oh, they've gone to an event. That's awesome. Oh, there's my car. What are they? Ducati? I think they go 400 kilometers an hour. There's my jets. Whoa. America colors. That's good to see. A lot of businesses gone down in Canada. There was more food being dropped. I think that was the ceiling of the Rolls Royce. Just saying, because they have those little wee stones. So we've just got a couple more images here. So if you know anyone in here, let us know. And if you are an investor and you have invested your money, we have got some information that we'd love to hear from you. So seriously, if you've invested and you're thinking, oh my goodness, if I invested in a Ponzi scheme, this shows you that we have been watched, because I didn't have my hands on the keyboard and now her Instagram profile has been switched to private. Wonder why they don't want this. Now, this is real time. So we've currently got 42 people on a live, and there we were looking at the girlfriend's Instagram page and they turned it off. Isn't that a crack up? So let's just go back and see what happens here. So let's just go through the photos that we can see. And here we are. So this is, oh, what a crack up. We love it, Chris. So there she is. So she's going to love having her name out there. And don't worry, she's an Instagram girl, so she won't mind these photos. I think you should spend a little bit more money on the costume she wears, because some of it doesn't cover very much, which is very cool. So let's see if we can go to Mykonos, because that's where it got really exciting. Oh, something went wrong. Oh, dear. Wonder what's happening there, Chris. Oh, dear. All right, wait until we get into the good stuff. So that's just one episode. Now, what else do we have on her? We probably could go to her Facebook. There she is. And then you might want to make that private as well. And we found her full name. I don't know if you noticed that. I'll read that out because I'm no good at reading. But let's read out her full name.
Tiber Zappa.
Tizer Zappa. And where did she go to school? Doesn't have it. And look, if you look at her, as I said, she's probably, this is her personal page. And when she's working, she doesn't have any photos of Chris on her personal page. And I'm pretty sure that's the same one. And we even found her on TikTok, which is really cool. What do they call it? TokTik? That's quite cool. And you'll probably see the same, no content on there, or you'll be shutting down all the social media, reposts, things she's been doing. Oh, look, here we go. Here's another video. The videos are all over the place, can't they, Chris? So in a hot air balloon with a DJ, is that Turkey? Is it Karadopia? What do they call it? I've been there. I can't remember how to pronounce it. But yeah, so there's lots of stuff. So you might want to shut some of that down. 22K followers. That's not too bad. I've got more than that though. And then the last one we want to have a look at is LinkedIn. Now, the LinkedIn really did fool me, because that did not look like her. Aspiring registered nurse. Yeah, so I presume that's the same profile. Some of these profiles might not match the same person, but you get the idea. So that's just one little bit of an investigation. Now, if you don't know what we're doing here, ladies and gentlemen, this is my database, and it's not public, but it is open to any government agents. At the moment, we've actually got 7 government agencies and 6 different countries that access our data. And in the persons of interest area, you'll see that we actually currently have over 500 people that we've been actively investigating. Sometimes it would be fair to say that the Avengers, I'm not alone, are doing the work that a lot of government agencies can't. If you go into America, you'll see that these are all the Americans that we've been investigating. who we have seen promoting multi-level marketing or Ponzi schemes and scams. If you go back to the homepage here, we've got Ponzi schemes and scams, and these are the Ponzi schemes and scams that we're currently investigating. We've got 200 of these on our books. So the 3 companies of interest today that we're talking about is Goliath Ventures, Wealth MD, which is otherwise known as Wealth Management Doctors, and BlackBlock. Now, BlackBlock is a real shocker because basically it looks like a white label services of what Goliath Ventures is actually offering. And if you go into here, then we can basically hand this file over to, government agents, news reporters. So yesterday, if I was going, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around a wee bit, but I've got a lot to cover. So this was the title of the video that we're doing today. And it's got Chris Diego, Goliath Ventures exposed, Charities warned, Secret Service notified, and new evidence. And this is what I went to bed with last night. Woke up with a cease and desist letter because we put this video out. And in here, we are going through the part 1. So I'm going to read these part 1, part 2s.
Part 1. We uncovered the Goliath Ventures contract that promised guaranteed 3-4% monthly returns and absolute and binding guarantees of principal. These promises were contradicted by sweeping disclaimers and 90-day withdrawal delays.
Yeah, so everyone that's invested right now, my advice to you is if you can, get your money out. But I know because the contract that he has said that he's got a 90-day withdrawal policy. And that means that he will claim that I've done some hacking into his system or somebody's done something and everything's on hold for 90 days until he shuts the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger down, which he won't. And I'll tell you why, because it's not my first rodeo. But unfortunately, if you have invested your money, and I am getting inundated with emails from people that have invested, we want to hear from you. We do have a recovery strategy and we can help you. But if you've been sitting there investing at the start and you've got your principal back, you probably don't really care. You're just trying to take the money from new investors while you can. But we want to hear from you. So if you read the policy that you signed, which we got a copy of, then you really want to question if it's a good time to try getting your money out. Now, my advice to anybody is get all your money out. And then if you think that I'm not correct, put your money back in at a later date. But let's test the system because I believe there's no money left because it doesn't add up. The second video we did.
Part 2. Investor emails revealed choreographed payout schedules, false claims of partnerships with Merrill Lynch, and a so-called audit distributed through MailChimp with no licensed auditor attached.
Yeah, so that's, so there was, so they claimed they made a lot of false claim. So that's what we did. Now, also, I've got the if you're watching my video right now, read the blog. You want to read that blog, there will be a link to the very blog that we're talking about now. So this is number 5 that we've done, and I'll just save that. And then you can go there and get this blog. So if you're watching this video, go into the description and you're basically seeing what we're reading here. So let's go back to where we were before I was really interrupted by myself. And the third part 3 series that we did.
Part 3. A leaked February 2025 training video showed compliance theater, scripts telling promoters what to say, fake insurance slides, and a conflict of interest where BlackBlock, presented as an independent auditor, was also promoting and selling Goliath contracts.
Yeah, so we went to BlackBlock, which I don't know why they've called it BlackBlock, and I think I've got the PDF in here, and this is the PDF that they had on the screen. Nope, that's not the one. That's an investor letter, is it? Oh, that was interesting. Where did we get that from? Where did I get that from? I thought I had the PDF of this PDF. Persons of interest, Ponzi scheme, founders. We have got their PDF of that they had on the screen. I'm sure it was BlackBlock. Yeah, there we go. We're working too hard. But anyway, is it PDF down there? No. We've got the PDF, but anyway, that's on the way. So we went and showed you the meeting of where they were training what they now call the directors, who all were instructed to set up their own company. And they were also instructed that everybody that was dealing with the company had to sign an NDA. And if they didn't sign an NDA, then Chris was going to come after them. And he said he had a lot of money to go after people. It was very scary.
Part 4. In September, 2025, Goliath Ventures Incorporated was dissolved in Florida and immediately reincorporated in Wyoming, a classic move to dodge liabilities. At the same time, Delgado claimed it was all a smear campaign rather than answering basic questions.
Yeah, so yesterday what we did is we went through and we emailed all the charities that were on the homepage of Chris's website. So if we went to Goliath Ventures, you can see that on their homepage, hey, Chris, take this offline while we're doing the live so people can't see. But this is how Chris generates. He's got blockchain technology, liquid pools, Bitcoin mining. If you get involved in those three things, you can make a lot of money for people, because that's what Chris is claiming his money's coming from, not from new investors. Oh, no, no, no. There are accomplishments to dates. And then when you get down to here, you can see there's Chris looking very chapper. And he's also, at the moment, he's at a Tony Roberts event, which is sponsored by his mate. And I'll go into that another day, but not today. These are the charities. So last night, before I went to bed, I emailed all these charities. And one of the charities in questions was this one here, Melissa's Race to Battle Brain Cancer. And I received a reply. First reply basically said they didn't receive any money, they said, from Goliath Ventures Inc. And also they said that they didn't receive any money from Christopher Diego. So then I wrote back and said, oh, thank you very much for clearing that information up. Then they come back to me again and they said, actually, we did receive a donation. So this has been on their website for over 2 years. And they said that the donation that they received was $300. So if you go to the top of this and you read, this is what they claim.
Goliath Ventures Incorporated has donated over $1 million over the past year, and more than $4 million to charitable and community efforts since 2019.
So last year, he donated $1 million to these charities, but that one charity that's come back to us so far has claimed that they've received $300 of the $1 million that they claim that they have given to people. And we are aware that they also have pledged to give $2 million. I think I could be wrong, but they have pledged $2 million to Amy's Army. So there's the man, there's the people. He's the man in the moment, and he knows how to schmooze. He knows how to get around. He knows how to stand in front of a big bull with a whole lot of white shirts with his brand on his T-shirt. But you get the idea, ladies and gentlemen. So we wrote to those charities because we just want to start verifying and checking a few of his claims. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. That's what investigate. Now, just remember, I'm not just going after him for no hell of it. I've asked him politely to provide us answers to basic questions. And what we've basically said to him, it isn't rocket science. We have said to them, why don't you provide us, a ledger contract where we can actually see that you are generating your money the way you claim? Because everything about this smells like a Ponzi scheme. And there is no proof that he is generating 60% return for people annually. Basically, if you put 100,000, I'm not a mathematician, I might have that wrong. But you think about this. He's asking people to give them $100,000 and he's going to give them $60,000 in 12 months if they compound it all. I think that math is right, so don't quote me on that, but you get the idea. And this is how he's doing it. So prove it. That's all we're asking. We're asking you to prove it. Why wouldn't you prove it? Look, and also the other thing, Chris, I know you're watching right now. So I have got a link that's just been gone in the chat room, and that enables you to come on the meeting and talk to me in real person. It's not rocket science, but you're more than welcome to do so and answer any of those questions. So let's just go back to the front. So we wrote to that. We also sent, I spent quite a lot of time phoning up the Secret Service. We finally got some engagement with them, and we have got the ball rolling with the Secret Service, which is fantastic. So that was something else I went to bed with last night thinking, yay. We've gone through and we've named all the individuals that we're currently investigating. So I know most of these individuals have actually set themselves up, as I said, probably as separate entities. So we'll explain that in a few minutes when we read that there. Pushbacks. Well, the interesting thing, when you start getting flack, you're over the target. And as I said, I think it's pretty lame that rather than answering an investigative reporter's questions, and start sending them threats of legal action, really does show your true colours. But hey, it's not my first rodeo. As I said, I've got a wall of cease and desist letters on the wall. That one was comical. 10 pages, really? Here we go. Let's get into it. Let's read this again.
On September 9th, 2025, I received a 10-page cease and desist letter from the Florida law firm Perlman, Vigilance, Yeverly and Albright, PL on behalf of Goliath Ventures Incorporated, and Chris Delgado.
Yeah, so this letter is threatening, so I'm just going to read it.
The letter threatens legal action in Florida, accuses me of defamation, and demands that I retract and remove my reporting that Goliath Ventures is a crypto Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, so they want me to retract. Oh my God. You know, I've never ever taken a video off myself. Not once. I've got 2,300 videos on my YouTube channel, and I've never removed a video from my library of videos. And currently, I'm actually broadcasting on 6 different channels. And this would be a great time to tell people to make sure they are subscribed to my YouTube channel. I've got a good audience here. But I'm actually broadcasting on LinkedIn, Kick, Twitch, X, otherwise known as Twitter, Rumble, and what else we got? We've got broadcasting on LinkedIn, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, and obviously YouTube. So I've got a big footprint, and also everything that we do. When you subscribe to my YouTube channel, I always get Sadie to come and clean the screen because she just looks after your screen for you. That's my way of saying thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. And also, Chris has accused me of doing this because I'm just trying to make money. Well, I don't make hardly any money. So I really do survive on donations. And some people did donate some money to me last night, and it was $25. So thank you very much for that. It does keep the wolves away from the door. So if you want to support me in what I do, please do, and we'll bring this monster down.
Instead of addressing the evidence and whistleblower testimony, the law firm has chosen to defend a client facing serious allegations of securities fraud and elder abuse.
You know, the last lawyer firm that sent me a cease and desist letter demanded that I paid $5,000 towards the legal fees of the person they were working for. The company that they were working for was meant to be a multi-million-dollar company. And at the very end of it, they asked if they could post a retraction, an amendment on the bottom of the blog, which I did. And this is still open to Chris. All my blogs that I've got online about this, which is 5 now and growing every day, we are happy to post an amendment on the bottom of those blogs. So if you want to put a public statement out there, Chris, you're more than welcome to give it to me, and I'll put it on the blog. You know, that's what I've done. But do remember, about maybe 7-10 days ago, we did actually ask you for that, and you failed to do so. You've even acknowledged in your correspondence to me that you ignored it at the start. Well, now might be a good time where you might actually start answering your investors, because I'm telling you, some of your investors have got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in your company. And the fact that you're trying to cover your tracks is quite funny. And sorry about outing your girlfriend there. I'm sure she'll put her Instagram account back online soon.
Below is my full written response, followed by a downloadable copy of my reply in PDF format for transparency.
Yeah, so if you want to download this PDF, please do. But here we go. I won't talk too much.
Our response to the lawyer's response to Oliver M. Berman, Perlman, Bajandis, Yeverly, and Albright, PL, cease and desist letter Goliath Ventures, Chris Delgado, Crypto Ponzi Scheme, Florida.
Yes.
Mr. Oliver M. Berman, I acknowledge receipt of the letter dated September 9th, 2025, with regard to the crypto Ponzi scheme Goliath Ventures Incorporated, which is run by Chris Delgado.
Yes. I just have to, I just love these. You know, like, this is what I thrive on. You know, this is why I get up in the morning, you know, to be able to out somebody who's living, you know, the lifestyle of flaunting. What the hell does flash cars, young girlfriends, expensive clothing, Rolex watches, jets, yachts got to do with running a company that generates people amazing return on investment? Why would you put videos out showing off your lifestyle? Wouldn't you rather, if Chris is a genius at making all that money, that he's in the office working like a beaver to protect your investment? Get your money out.
Your letter makes some highly concerning revelations, Perhaps you missed them in your haste to draft it, but you yourself state a clients are not engaged in a Ponzi scheme, have not misled its investors. Your client Goliath Ventures is not licensed to raise funds from the public and therefore cannot legally have investors. So who are these investors you speak of? Have funds been raised from the public by your client? If so, where are the requisite risk disclosures and offer documents?
Yeah. So we're just asking for the receipts. It's like the mailman dropping off the letter and you're going to have a go at the mailman. I'm just asking for the receipts. I'm not making this stuff up. I don't need to make this stuff up. As I've said, they are falling on their own swords, their own documents, their own online presence, OSINT information, open source intelligence. This is what I thrive on. This is what I use. This is not, this is not backyard chatter. I've got documents. I've got PDFs. I've got their own documents, their own PDFs, and we've done, forensics on them. And this is where their downfall is. This cease and desist letter is a joke. This actually condemns them more.
Your client Chris Delgado uses the line that he's running a private venture fund as an absurd loophole to cover up for his obvious disregard for US securities laws. Again, your client cannot raise funds from the public, but you claim that your client does have investors, but that they are not being defrauded.
So he can't do what he's doing. And now they're claiming I think that, how can your client cannot raise funds from the public, but you claim that your client does have investors. That's just fraud. I can't read that any better. And if you don't know me and you've just tuned in, I'm dyslexic and reading and writing isn't really my thing. So that's why I have everything read to me. I would read this in my own vig and vimmer if I could, but I just start looking like I'm pigeon language. Doesn't mean I'm not intelligent. Just means I have problems with reading.
Why is your firm defending an individual and a company that is openly engaged in securities fraud and elder abuse?
Listen to it. Elder abuse. I have to stop that for a second. So if we go back to here, this is their target audience is going, if I go to Wealth MD, this is their videos, and they're going after the people's in New Zealand, we call it their retirement fund superannuation. And what they're doing that for is because it's a Ponzi scheme, and it is a Ponzi scheme, they are telling the elderly to invest their money and will let them manage their retirement funds. And I might not be saying the terminology right, so excuse me, do your own research on this, and this is not financial advice and all that sort of crap. But when I saw this video of this lady, it was breathtaking. Have a look at this, right? So this lady here is telling, in wealth management,
all of the income tax stuff getting.
So wealth management was pitched at this early event they had in February, and wealth management was basically telling their sales team how to get around the elderly abuse claims. So some of them were suggesting that maybe they could do a seminar at some people's homes or something like old people's homes, and they said, oh, you've got to be very careful about that. And they let out the law. But when I found wealth management doctors and I found these videos of people, then I realized that why they're doing this is because if somebody wants to transfer their money out of their retirement fund, it costs a lot of money, which also is an incentive for people to keep their money within the platform. So basically put, they could manage people's portfolios and the people probably wouldn't take their money out, which would give their Ponzi scheme time to flourish, if that makes sense. So that's what we sort of have figured out. But now what we've found out is that Mr. Peter Curry is no longer associated with the company. And we've also found out that he's potentially associated with a couple of other companies. And these companies specialize in elderly investments. So we haven't really researched that, but maybe you know some information about that. But this guy, certainly, we have written a letter that went to everybody in his company that he currently works for, as you can see. And we've asked him to answer some basic questions, basically asking what his involvement is with the company. But no, we heard crickets from him. The sound was deafening, as I say. So, yep. So let's carry on anyway. And let's, did we read this? Public interest? No, here we go.
My reporting is based on publicly available information, whistleblower testimony, and evidence consistent with classic indicators of securities fraud and Ponzi-style operations. As you are well aware, the doctrines of truth and fair comment are complete defenses to defamation. My questions and commentary are grounded in matters of substantial public interest, namely investor protection and financial misconduct.
Yeah, all I'm doing is trying to help your investors make sure they have a clear understanding of where their money is and how secure it is. Now imagine if you had, I don't know if you run your own business, but imagine if you had 1,500 clients. That's quite a big portfolio. Well, that's what they claim they have. And they also claim that they've paid out $100 million worth of dividends in 2024. So since it's the 9th month, I can only assume that it's up to 150 million. And if it is a Ponzi scheme, they'll need to have a lot more money coming in than going out. So I can only assume that this could be a very big Ponzi scheme. So I think Chris will be asking for that Learjet to be warmed up on the runway, and he'll be off to Dubai soon. So I would say that Chris is actually a flight risk if I was a government agency looking at this right now.
Are you at Perlman, Bajandis, Yeverley, and Albright, PL aware that Chris Delgado and Goliath Ventures Incorporated along with BlackBlock and Wealth, MD are being investigated by US law enforcement? Are you aware of the fate that befell Rothstein Rosenfeld Adler, also from Fort Lauderdale, the high-flying law firm that was wrapped up in a large Ponzi scheme?
Do you like our research? 2 hours ago, I wrote this. An hour ago, 15 minutes before I went live, we published this as a blog. We have got a team of Avengers. This is not our first rodeo. We've got 12 months worth of data. That's what we do. We do the job that a lot of government agents can't do as fast as we are. And when they come to us, and they have, we hand this information over to them. We just give them access to our database and they have a field day. So what I'm getting at is, if you're one of these 27 people in here, you've been watched. You've been watched by governments who can lock you up. Bitcoin Rodney, he was part of a $1.9 billion scam. Sam Lee, I was in a documentary with Bloomberg. They researched it for 10 months and they showed it. It's on the homepage of my website, dehek.com. And they showed how this guy, Sam Lee, was charged in connection to a scam called Hyperverse. And that was a $1.9 billion scam. Sam got detained in Dubai for 60 days, unheard of. Now set free, thinks he's a free man. His predecessor is Chavez, and he's tried suing me as well. Would you believe that Chavez had a stroke because of the stress I caused him? And now he's claimed to be suing me for $300,000, claiming that I caused him a stroke. I get some stupid cease and desist letters, but this one is way up there. But all these people here are going to be investigated. However, if any of these people want to reach out to me, they can do so via my website. And we're quite happy to look for a whistleblower. If you want to come forward, every bit of information you provide us will be kept confidential. And I know, Chris, you ain't got a shit show in hell. Are you telling me that the 26 people on my screen at the moment are loyal to you? Because at the moment, you're the one that holds the purse strings. All these individuals here, well, the majority of them have been told to set up their own individual company. So the liability is theirs. These people that you have thrown under the bus are on the line. Are you one of these people? Reach out to me. I promise I'll keep it confidential. And we just may have a little bit of, what do they call it? Justice, perhaps. Now, I can't remember because I got all excited about that. So we're going to have to read this one twice. Hopefully not.
It is troubling that, instead of addressing the substantive allegations of fraud, your letter attempts to intimidate a journalist with threats of litigation all the way to Florida courts. If your clients are confident that their business is legitimate, they should have no difficulty demonstrating transparency through audited financials, regulatory compliance, and clear evidence of lawful operations. Until then,
Just listen to that. Audited financials. It's not a big ask, is it? Regulatory compliance. That's not a big ask, is it, for a real company? Clear evidence of lawful operations. That's not a big ask. And that's all I was asking at the start. And now I've got threats of legal action. These guys are going to come after a YouTuber who just asked the basic questions. And now I'm getting legal threats? What the heck? And, is this going on?
Until then, I am entitled to ask, and the public is entitled to know, whether Goliath Ventures and Mr. Delgado is engaged in a large-scale crypto Ponzi scheme that can hurt thousands of people.
Yeah. Now, I've got stories of people who are concerned. This is, every Ponzi scheme and scam that I investigate, you know what it is? It's a relationship destroyer. It is, they kill families. I was brought up in a religious cult. This type of stuff is relationships. That kills relationships, because the only way these Ponzi schemes grow is by somebody who's dear to you recommending that you should get involved. They may have not done their due diligence. And I know they can't have done their due diligence because people they don't even know how he's generating the money. But their friend that they trust comes to them and suggests they get involved. And they just walk off that cliff like the Pied Piper walks off a cliff. And I'm sick and tired of people being at the bottom of these cliffs. I'm the guy at the bottom of the cliff trying to help people. And then they get scammed again, asking me, how do I get my money back? And they go to a crypto recovery company or whatever it is. I'm sick of being at the bottom. I'm at the top of the cliff and I'm holding back Christopher Delgado. And I'm saying, don't you throw anyone else off this cliff. Who the hell do you think you are, thinking that you can give investment advice when you're not even a regulated financial advisor? You're a nobody. You're a guy in a suit that's far too tight for you. You've got yourself a 24-year-old girlfriend, for God's sake. You've had jet flights all around the world, and you're trying to cover your tracks. And now you're sponsoring an event where Tony Roberts is, and you've got your name, and we've got photos of you and your wee briefcase, and here I am, look at me, look at me. Well, pride before a fall, and David and Goliath comes to mind. I'm David, and your company is called Goliath. I might just be a little wee YouTuber, a speck or annoyance for you, but we can take you down, mate. I'm pretty good with a slingshot. In fact, I'm a target shooter. That's a different thing. Anyway, what do I say? Until then, so let's just carry on, stay focused.
Until then, I am entitled to ask, and the public is entitled to know.
Yeah, we've already said that paragraph. Let's not try to double up. So this is my letter back to their lawyers today.
You've written a great deal about Florida law and how I am breaching the rights of Goliath Ventures Incorporated in Florida. But I will remind you, your client, upon being exposed for running an alleged Ponzi scheme, dissolved the Florida entity. Given this, Goliath Ventures Incorporated, I believe, can't legally operate in Florida. Yet another example of your client's flagrant disregard for the law.
Oh, look, some of the comments in the comment room. Danny versus Goliath. That's brilliant, isn't it? Thank you very much, Rick. Nice to see you here. Nice to see you. Joel, nice to see you here. Violet, you're beautiful. Queen of Karma, you're just a force to be reckoned with. Susie Stealth. Well, I've got a team of Avengers that support what we do. Bob, just saying. Some really good messages in the chat room. We're trying to keep up with them all. But this one here really took the cake. Wrote this reply, and then I thought, they're quoting all this Florida law. And then you think, on the 3rd of December, Goliath Ventures Inc. closed their company down in Florida. So then their lawyers, who've been operating what seems like 2013, going back by the Wayback thing, have now tried to use Florida law as to give them some sort of credibility with their cease and desist letter. This is unheard of. This is stupid. This is the dumb stuff. This is what I wake up in the morning and think, oh my goodness, are you really going to try going down that track? It's just incredible. Anyway, let's have a listen.
Accordingly, before I can give any further consideration to your demands, I require clarity on the following.
Yeah, now this is simple. So I'm happy to answer their demands, which I must read the whole lot to be honest. Let's have a listen to the first one that I want them to answer. This is what I want back from their lawyers. Hopefully I'll get a letter today because Chris will be biting at the bit going, quick, stop this guy exposing me.
What specific regulatory licenses or exemptions permit Goliath Ventures and Mr. Delgado to solicit and pool investor funds?
Now, just forget about that question, ladies and gentlemen, and think about if you're an investor, we want to, actually, I'll tell you what we're going to do. If you have invested, you can go to the contact page on dehek.com and you can send me anonymous information. If you have invested, then I want to hear from you. We want to know how much you've invested and how much you've received back. We want to start building a database of people that invested, because with Hyperverse, there was all these, that was a $1.9 billion scam. I've always said it's a $4 billion scam. And we tracked large wallet addresses and money pools and, all this stuff, and we would like to build a database because the money and the assets. So I don't know if you know how it works when a company goes into liquidates, the liquidators move in and then they pay back all the investors' money. And if you put a claim in, you will be the first in the front of the line to get your money back. So we are quite happy to start forming a list. All we will need from you is your name, an email, and a phone number, how much you initially invested and the date. If you give us that information, then we can start building a list of investors. And then when the liquidators come in here, because they will, we can go back and say, well, here's, $40 million. Like we've got one guy in here at the moment, and we've been told, Jason Newton, he's meant to be the head of Canada. And we've got him on LinkedIn, and we couldn't find him, but he came into the chat room the other day and started going off at us, and we've managed to find you, Jason, didn't we? So we've actually got his company and who he is and all that sort of stuff. But this guy allegedly is meant to be bringing in $1 million a month. That's what we've been told. So, these guys, so we need to start building a list. So there's a lot of money in state here. So rather than sitting here waiting and thinking, I'll see what happens. And one guy I spoke to, we managed to find out who he is. And I'll just say jet skis. And he's claiming he's put everything into it. And if he loses, he's going to lose everything. We don't want you to lose anything. And if you really are in two minds, then the game's up, isn't it? So you need to get your money out. And if you can't get your money out, then you've lost it already. But if we ban up now and ask these basic questions, regulatory license or was it exemptions? I better read that again.
Regulatory licenses or exemptions.
Exemptions. Why aren't you asking those questions to Chris? Why is he in a conference that is being motivated by Tony Roberts right now as we speak? Well, I think he's home for the night. He's probably at a restaurant somewhere having a nice cup of tea. Well, watch me on the big screen in his house again. But why isn't he answering these questions? Why isn't he addressing people? Why isn't he getting on YouTube and doing a video to calm the farm?
What independent, third-party audits substantiate that investor returns are funded by lawful, revenue-generating activity and not by new investor deposits?
That's what we want to prove. Is this all driven by investor deposits? Because if so, it's a Ponzi scheme. And that's what I'm calling it. 100%, my reputation, my career as a guy that goes after anyone that runs or promotes a Ponzi scheme or a scam, this is 100% a Ponzi scheme. And you want proof? Well, no one's going to yell or cry foul yet. Because as soon as people start having problems with withdrawal, then the whole lot falls over. It's called a house of cards. My very first video I did was all about the house of cards. So, saying that, then why shouldn't you be able to get your money out? And if you did take all your money out today, would it be there for you to take out? Do you really think the money's sitting there? Well, have you not seen those three houses? $8.5 million house, $3.2 million house, $2.5 million house. Where did that money come from? And also, if he's that well off, why is there a mortgage on, I don't know about the 8.5 million, but I'm pretty sure there's a mortgage on most of those properties, if not all of those properties. What about the company office that he's purchased? The overpriced company offices that he's purchased. The pledge of spending $20 million to make it let's just say, like a lounge where you introduce new investors. This is the intel that we get.
Why is your firm taking instructions to defend a client facing such serious allegations instead of advising them to provide transparency to investors and regulators? At least advise them to follow the law and wind down operations.
Yeah. Is this, I'm actually outing. Last time I outed a law firm, they just crawled away like a wee crab. But why are they not researching? Do they think that Goliath Ventures is his only company? Why are they not investigating the people they're representing? Because surely this is a reputable law firm. How can they write a letter and send it to somebody like me claiming that their client has crossed every T and dotted every I? We've 3 years ago, Chris was basically nobody. And now he's Mr. Learjet, man of the moment. He's thrown his money around. He's got more caviar than the fish has.
What jurisdiction does Florida court have given that Goliath Ventures Incorporated has been dissolved in Florida and moved to Wyoming? Also given the fact that I am based in New Zealand.
Yeah. So you need to get a New Zealand lawyer. Just saying, guys, even I know how that works. And if you want copies of my last lawsuit, let me know. Ah, dear.
Until these questions are answered, it is premature to discuss retraction or compliance with your demands. I will continue to reserve all rights, including the right to publish further commentary based on additional evidence as it becomes available.
Yeah, so if you're on my blog, you can basically download my reply. And also at the top here, you can download this cease and desist letter, which is a joke. I'm just saying I've received a few. But here's my summary. All right.
This cease and desist letter is a classic intimidation tactic. Instead of providing audited financials, regulatory licenses, or proof of lawful operations, Goliath Ventures and Chris Delgado have chosen to threaten legal action.
Oh, dear.
My reply makes it clear that Goliath Ventures is not licensed to raise funds from the public. The firm admits there are investors, but provides no legal basis for them. Serious questions remain unanswered about compliance, transparency, and prior Ponzi connections. Florida courts may not even have jurisdiction since the company dissolved its Florida entity.
I think it's funny. And where is Chris's offices? Where does he operate out of? Has anyone ever gone and knocked on the door of the offices of Goliath Ventures? Come on, guys.
The central question remains, why is a respected Florida law firm defending a man accused of running a large-scale crypto Ponzi scheme?
Well, isn't that like a basic question? Like, why would a company, a lawyer company, I don't like going after lawyers companies, but I've done it many times. I mean, come on, guys. I'm just reading some correspondence, what we might need to do. Yeah, so just got to read this for a second. Wait a second. We want to know something from you, Chris, though. Can you explain to us why you wired a big payment, about $1 million, to Bet David Consulting? We're just curious. Does anyone know why Christopher Diego would have done that? I'll just repeat that. So we've got some intel that states that we're thinking it's $1 million has been wired to Bet David Consulting. Now, I don't know how you say that.
Chats, filter.
No. Bet David Consulting for the Vault Conference. So if you're not familiar with the Vault Conference, that's what the major sponsor has been at the moment. So just checking my correspondence. Thank you very much for all those well wishes. We have got a massive team on this. It is so exciting. This is the most excitement I've had with my trousers on. So I want to do one of two things. First of all, this conference, now we're not saying that this conference has got anything to do with, but this guy here that you see in this picture, right? And I assume this is the guy that we are all talking about. I need to bring up a wee video, and I need a second or two to bring that up. Hopefully I can do this in real time. Now, I normally stuff up in real time, and last time I stuffed up a little bit, we had got emails going, ha, 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 we've got all the information we need. Well, this is where I normally stuff up. So get yourself ready with your screen grabs just in case I bring up the wrong video. All right, so this is exactly the one I want, and I'm going to go open with, and we're going to put that on another screen. Beautiful. All right, so there's a couple of things I want to show you first, and I want to figure out the connection. Now, I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Now, is this the right video? Yep, 1 minute. All right, so we're going to turn the sound down as well, and we're going to flip screens. So make sure we flip the right screen this time, Danny. This one here. So this is a blank screen. Now, you watch this video here. This is what happens to your money if you give it to Chris. So first thing first is, oh, good, there we go. So that's his Rolls Royce. It's probably got, I'd love to know if it's got any money owing on it. That's the jet, which we've researched. We know the jet doesn't really have any significance, but we were trying to find out who is leasing the jets, renting the jets off. Here's the man of the moment. Anyone in these photos that you see, we would love to know. So I don't know who these guys are. I'm not saying that they're all wound up with Chris, but they're obviously associating with him. So so he's the man of the moment. He's on the cell phone. He's even got himself an iPhone 16 like me. I've got the same one. Look at that. Oh, we're going places. Helicopter flights, lots of laughing. Everyone's wearing the logos. They've got that corporate image. Now this guy here is this guy here. Now we want to know why you transferred $1 million, well, allegedly $1 million. We don't know exactly. We would love to know. I'm just going to go through my Avenger messages and go up. So we would like to know the answer to that question. But we have heard on the grapevine, I'm just going to ban that guy. You don't want any fake views. Thanks very much. I'm just going down to the bottom. Oh, right. What have we got there? Oh, what is sponsorship? Sponsorship. So, yes. All right. So, we're at the bottom. So, when you post in the message in the chat room now. So, what has this guy got to do? So, we heard that Chris was going to pitch his unregulated financial investment opportunities to sports players. And we've also know there is, I know of one sports player that were pitched this opportunity and they refused because they said it smells like a Ponzi scheme, and they have reached out to me directly. And that is one investor that we know of who's a sports player. All right, so this is the thing that we are getting. So here's Chris, and there's the man of the moment. So that guy there is the guy that's meant to have organized Vault 2025 conference, and Chris is meant to be the major sponsor of that company. So we don't know everything, but obviously there we are. Oh, look at the man. I mean, you've got to take that back. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That sports jacket is a little bit tight. We actually have sent a message to your stylist, Chris, and we've told her that hopefully she's got all her bills paid. So we met her. Anyway, you know who she is. That man there. Look at the man. These guys here. I think that guy was either I'm not sure who that is, but he's either a fireman or the supplement guy, Alpha somebody. I can't remember. I get them mixed up every now and again. And these guys here, well, they're all, I've got this man from Borneo sort of look going on, the man on the left there. There we go. Oh, he must have gone in there for a wardrobe change. Wonder how many times he did that. So that's quite cool. And there's the car. I don't even know what that is. Is that a Lamborghini or is it Ferrari? I think it's a Lamborghini. I'm not really in that. So that was a wee video that we caught. And then we've seen that Chris right now is just been to this conference. And I've had friends that have gone to these Tony Robbins events if he's there, and he's absolutely amazing. So I would recommend him. And look, is it Mr. Big? So what's going on there? Now, we have got images, which I might bring up if I'm lucky, of Chris actually at this event, but I don't think we need to jeopardize me bringing out this. So Now, just my disclaimer, I'm going to read it because there's lawyers involved. Listen to this.
Disclaimer. How this investigation was conducted. This investigation relies entirely on OSINT, open source intelligence, meaning every claim made here is based on publicly available records, archived web pages, corporate filings, domain data, social media activity, and open blockchain transactions. No private data, hacking, or unlawful access methods were used. OSINT is a powerful and ethical tool for exposing scams without violating privacy laws or overstepping legal boundaries.
Yeah. Mike, I don't know who you are, but you said, I'm interested. I'll put your question up here. If you want to come on stage, you're more than welcome. I'm interested in if this is for sure something you know is a scam. Mate, I think if I was asking that question, I'll just finish up what I'm doing here, and then I'm going to answer that question, because that's a really good question, actually, and thank you for asking it. About me, who I am, well, I got the name, the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger, having a 2-page spread in the print edition of the New York Times. They were trying to do a expose on the hyperverse scam that I was busting. They finished up doing a full, amazing 7,500 word article about my quest to name and shame individuals who are promoting all Ponzi schemes or scams. Since then, I have actually been in helping investigated journalism with other information, and I have actually been in ABC News Australia, the Guardian newspaper. They did 14 articles in my help. In the 14th article, I got even a mention. Been in a Bloomberg documentary, News Australia, as I said, Oprah India. The Press is my local paper. Stuff is our national newspaper. ABC News Australia, I think I've said that twice. Radio New Zealand is our radio. Love when I'm on that one. And Otago, which is literally the last, the bottom of the earth newspaper. So that's a wee bit about me. But what I would be doing, how do I know it's a scam? Well, I reckon if you've invested with a company like Chris's, then I reckon I would go back and ask those 5 questions. So go into my blog and ask him what regulatory licenses he has. But I think that's not really a big question to ask. And he claims that he's been audited, but he's never mentioned what company he got audited by and audited for what. These are, and also I've got other stuff that I can't go into because I haven't fully researched yet, but there is other investments that he's been involved in, a few years ago, which we're still, I think there was are you aware of Chris de Hek's involvement in an earlier Ponzi scheme that were brewed up called, so My Liquidity Partner is the one I'm actually talking about. So Chris was involved, and just recently we've gone into their Telegram account and we've found that Chris was actually involved. And I don't know if this is a good idea, Danny, or not, but let's see if I can actually do that. I'm just wondering if I've actually got that. Oh, there it is there, I think. My Liquidity Partner. I'm just going to see if I can do this without destroying anything. Won't be a second, please, caller. Photos. Alrighty. So My Liquidity Partner, I'll just make sure I've got everything set here before I destroy everything. So if you go to My Liquidity Partner, you can actually see, if you go through their photos, which is one of these scams that have gone belly up and got some bad press. I don't know anything about it whatsoever. I'm not going to make any assumptions. But if you go through here, you can actually see there's a photo of Chris here, which you won't be able to see too much more. But so there's a photo of Chris is actually chopped out of it when you see it large. I don't even know how to do that. I might be able to actually make that a bit better. 1 second, please, call. Yes, I can. So let's go back to the web browser. The web browser. And we'll go here. But that photo that I just brought up was actually this photo here. And these people here, I don't know who they are, but I do know they were involved with the Liquidity Partner business, because as I just showed you, if you go into their their Telegram group, you can still see photos of Chris in there. So these are the questions I would be asking Chris. But everyone wants to know if it's a scam. And the only thing people can say I don't think it's a scam for is because I receive my payouts. And that is how these Ponzi schemes work. So when we did our last videos, so if we went to my YouTube channel, and let's just go back to here, and we'll go to the YouTube channel. Ooh. Now, if anyone got any questions, do pop them in the chat room. We've got a team of Avengers here who can help answer them. We also really honestly want to look at just why I am here. I'm going to go back. I'm going to put this to the start. Come here. This is my website. On the Contact Us page, if you want to, you can enter the studio, which means you can actually come on stage and talk to me right now. My business card, if you want to contact me, there's all my contact details there. The other one is when you click on the Contact Us page, my website gets attacked all the time, but it's protected by Google Project Shield. That's why that screen comes up. This is a form that you can fill out. Now, I've literally had dozens of people completing this form. So put your name, email address. Where it asks for your email address, just use anonymous@gmail.com. Then I can't reply to you. Ponzi scheme or scam, put Global Ventures Inc. Tell me who sponsored you into it, who introduced you into it. I would love to know. When you invested and the amount you invested. The information there is really gold. So if you go to my Contact Us, we've got where did your crypto go? This is another form that we did in previous scams. And basically that enables us to get given the crypto wallet where you sent your money. Now we have a whole lot of crypto addresses, but we don't have much information, not enough information for us to see where the money. We have tracked about $2.5 million that's come and gone. And we don't actually think this Ponzi scheme's as big as he says. Now, everyone's stuck on the word $100 million was paid out to investors in 2024. There's no actual proof of that. So these companies often use big talk, big names, big money to entice you to invest, but no one ever does the checks. That's why we have gone to Chris and we said, well, if, claiming that you've done $100 million worth of investments in 2024 is pretty out there, just like they said. So if that's the case, then why wouldn't you why wouldn't you show somebody a contract address? If you have been audited, why don't you show people the audit? I mean, what's the point of being audited and telling people that you've been audited? For example, their policy that they started out with, they actually claimed, so just look, go to that form, fill it out, it's anonymous. Just give us some intel on what you've lost. Let us see the bigger picture, because I don't think there's 1,500 people watching my video right now who have invested, who aren't concerned about their investment. Take your money out. It's as simple as. That's how it works. So if you go to my website, click on blogs and go back to the original one. Where are we? Blogs. So the first one we did, so this is the one that really sort of, we asked the polite question. So there's the house of cards. There's me pointing at Chris, and Chris is sitting here like he's all good to go. In here, we had this joint venture agreement. And this is actually, we managed to reconstruct this word for word. It's not altered in any which way or form. And this joint venture agreement basically said that your funds were 100% guaranteed and your principal was 100% guaranteed. However, as soon as something goes wrong, they can lock your funds for 90 days. And we've had people say that they've managed to get their principal, withdraw large amounts of money with no problems. And also they have been paid monthly. So one lady who invested over $100,000 in another opportunity said the first month she got paid out $5,500. The second month she got paid out $7,500. And then the third month she got paid out $11,000. And the fourth month it all fell over because she said Donald Trump got elected and the shares that she was theoretically trading in dropped to zero and she lost all her money. But reality, she got 30% of her deposit back. And 70% of that money went off to the scam that was running it. And, so this contract is available on my website. Go read it if you haven't already. This is not my contract. This is their contract. So this is what they actually said, which I believe is eye-opening.
Partner shall contribute not less than $100,000 USD, 3% on contributions, between $100,000 and $499,000, 4% for any contributions over $500,000. Goliath hereby guarantees the return of principal. This guarantee is absolute and binding.
Now that there is a mouthful, isn't it? Guarantee is guarantee absolute and binding. But then the same contract that you just heard me waffle on about says this.
Goliath may delay withdrawals for up to 90 days due to suspicious activity, system hacks, or exchange delays. Upon termination, the partner shall no longer have the right to receive any profits or rewards. Goliath makes no representations, warranties, or guarantees. as to the success of any venture and a partner's right to receive any profits.
So how can you make that statement in the same contract when up here you guarantee that the investment is 100% safe? I mean, this is just stupidity. So, you know, like all investment opportunities, and also with this blog, I think it's important to see it. We found that they had done a lot of self-published self-promotion. So they were claiming that these articles are giving them credibility. But these are all, you know, as they say, puff pieces. So, you know, you've got to do your due diligence. Now, I'm not Chris. I'm not his company. I don't know how he structured it. I'm just using the breadcrumbs of his own information. You know, being at the Vault conference, you know, we contacted them via doing a review on Trustpilot, claiming that had they really checked out, you know, the people that are investing. And if you go to this now, you can see at the bottom here, you'll see that he is, he's already been on the stage and interviewed like he's a hero, but there he is. He's one of the big sponsors. Now, I don't know how much it cost. Someone told me, but like we just questioned before, we want to, I'll just go back and read this question again. You're saying it right. Ben David. So it is Ben David. I'm going to read this, and this is Intel coming in live as we speak. A lot of money is going out of Goliath Ventures, big checks, and new money is drying up. Yeah, so Patrick Bet David. So they'll be releasing, yeah. And you know, I've got we have got documents. We've put together a massive press release for exposing Christopher. And I'm going to tell you some of the people that we have shared it with, and I'm just going to do that on another window so I don't get it wrong. And I'm going to go back to this window while I see. I'm getting better, guys. Oh dear. Right. So now we are opening up a window over here, and I want a response. What have we got? Okay, so I'm just looking at who I've shared this with. So yesterday, actually on my phone might be a better way of doing it. So we wrote we've given a bit of a summary, right? So we've gone to town and we've basically put a nice letter together, and we've outlined every single aspect of what's actually going on. This letter is lengthy. It's thorough. We've got links to information that we can't show you on screen. However, I'm going to read the introduction, and then I'm going to tell you who we sent it to, well, some of the people we sent it to.
Goliath Ventures is a large crypto Ponzi scheme, based in Orlando, Florida, founded by Chris Delgado. The operation is closely tied to two adjacent entities, BlackBlock and WealthMD, which act as feeder funds that are pulling in money from doctors, firefighters, realtors and other groups into this fraudulent scheme. Evidence suggests this scheme could involve at least $150 million USD, with claimed payouts in 2024 alone exceeding $100 million. The fallout is likely to impact hundreds of families across Central and South Florida, as well as Canadian investors. Victims appear to come largely from trusted community professions, real estate, hospitality, firemen, healthcare, and public services. Jackie Siegel, the realty TV star and model, appears to be one of the big victims of this scam. Mark Najam, the prominent Florida attorney, also seems to be a victim.
Yeah, so I've got a request to actually call Mark Najams. Has actually requested that I call him at the moment. And Mark, if you are watching this, you're more than welcome to give me a ring after I finish the live. But just so you know, we aren't sitting on our laurels here. And look, I'm not having a pissing competition with you, Christopher, but I think your day is up. I would literally be asking the jet guy to warm up the plane and get a one-way ticket to Dubai. But you might have a problem soon with your passport. But just saying, so that this extensive email, this is not bullshit stuff we're doing here, has gone to a big newspaper in Orlando. I can't even read the name. It's gone to the New York Times, WFTV, CoffeeZilla. Hey, Stephen. CoffeeZilla and I talk on the phone. Well, we've talked once, but I talked for half an hour. It was really cool. It was. He's really awesome. The Wyoming Herald. I don't know who this is, but I can't say if I don't know. Oh my goodness! So it's gone to the national news. Sun Intel. I think somebody's added this. I've had a little help from my Avengers, but it's gone everywhere. I just can't. It's really gone everywhere. Even gone to the New Zealand Herald, which is our big newspaper. But we're Golf News. Good on you guys. I mean, I've got a list of 60 people who've received our summary of what's actually going on here. We're not pissing around. You're not going to intimidate us with a 10-page gurgled piece of bullshit cease and desist letter. In fact, you've just given us a whole lot of content. I mean, we are sick and tired of these people defrauding mum and dad investors. I'm sick and tired of it. I was talking to somebody, which Chris would just about cry if he knew today. And they said to me, "What's your why?" And I said, "Why do we have to put up with this guy who's wearing a suit that's 2 sizes too small for him, flaunting his lifestyle, sending cease and desist letters to people who are asking questions for other people who are too scared to?" A lot of the people I get beg me not to mention their name or anything because they don't want to, it's too close to home. I don't benefit. I don't want to ruin a good investment opportunity, but this is not a good investment opportunity. This is disgusting. Do the math, guys. I give Chris $100,000. He goes on holiday and spends another handbag for his 24-year-old girlfriend. Come on, guys. I give him $100,000. Chris says, "Oh, I'll give you $3,000 back a month, and the next month, and the next month, and the next month." How many $3,000 a month can he give back to you until your $100,000 disappears? Then Chris says to you, "How's the investment going?" "Oh, look, I'm loving the money you're paying me back from my own money." Do you know anyone else, mate? We're now doing so fantastically well. We've decided to make the minimum investment $250,000. Ooh. And for all those people that have only invested $100,000, we're putting the squeeze on them. And we're telling them that if they want to stay in the game, they need to up their ante and put more money in. That's literally what they have done. So have you been approached by Chris? Have you been given the squeeze? Has he said to you that we've been good to our word, we're paying you back the money we've promised from your own money, but you don't seem to think about that. No one talks about the principle. So what's happening? So Chris is now asking you to go out and look for bigger investors. Like when I did my first video, I don't know who it was, but somebody was about to transfer $1 million over to Chris. He would have paid them $30,000 a month back. That's a pretty good return on my investment. But what about the principal? Not that principal. The principal. You go to the bank and they go, "Oh, banks don't give you any interest." But when you go back to the bank 5 years later, your money's still there. No one's talking about the elephant in the room. I mean, it just gets stupider. You've got to ask these questions. I'm a soldier. I'm a foot soldier. I'm in the trenches fighting these mongrels. This Chris guy. Yeah, I went to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning 2 times this week. I woke up at 8 o'clock. I got woken this morning by a phone call. I am sick to death with it. I was in a spam conference alliance group last night, and there was 12 people who do what I do. And we were having a meeting on how to stop these bottom feeders. It was my first time in the meeting. They welcomed me. They said, oh, we're documenting everything. And I said, stop documenting everything. Become a disruptor. I've got links to over 200 Zoom meetings where they're promoting these stupid Ponzi schemes and scams, telling you that if you do what they tell you to do, give you your money, that you're going to be, building yourself a passive income. What the guy that said to me, he's put a lot of his money in. If it goes belly up, he's out. He's going to lose all his money. I don't want those phone calls from those people telling me they've lost all their money. I don't want you guys to lose your money. What do you think? I'm like a dream stealer? Like Danny de Hek, aka the Crypto Ponzi Scheme. He's just here to build his YouTube clicks. Really? Really? That's always got on me. Chris has now sent me a 10-page cease and desist letter from a Florida company when he's not even registered as a company in Florida. He's throwing your money around like it's water. And you're sitting here going, you need proof that it's a Ponzi scheme or a scam. Really? What sort of proof are you looking for? Are you judging Chris on his nice suit, his flash cars, his Rolls Royce, his exotic trips with his 24-year-old girlfriend who's wearing Gucci everything? Who's just turned her Instagram account off because I was showing people the lavish lifestyle of these guys? Are you judging Christopher Delgado on his suit, his flash watch, his smile, his nice... He's a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. Really? Are you judging him on that? Or would you rather judge him on proof? I'm an investigative journalist. I wrote Chris an email. I said, hi, I'm Danny de Hek. I'm an investigative journalist. Just been looking at your investment opportunity. And I have a couple of questions I would like to ask you. Contract addresses. I've put it, I can't remember the questions, but they were basic questions, guys. What regulatory, does he have? We got a video of his, I don't know if you call them clowns, what do you call the suits? Basically saying that they're not registered. They were missing. They were not registered financial advisors, but they're lining up all their ducks in a row. And when they do get registered, they'll be ready to go. But that meant that they weren't. They'd already taken, theoretically, millions of dollars in because they claim to have been paid out $100 million worth in 2024. So they're already handling people's money as unregulated financial advisors before they were regulated. He's buying property, 3 properties that we can see. They've got mortgages on them. Why would they have a mortgage on them? He's doing so amazingly well. Where does he get the money from? I don't know. You've got to start questioning these guys. Why would you not ask? I just don't know if I can get that. I think I've done a good job here, and I'm looking forward to my next correspondence from their lawyers. Now, this is a call to you. If you can go to dehek.com, I put my name out there. I put my reputation out there. Forget about what is my motive? What am I trying to do here? Am I trying to help people who just want to believe? I can't fix you. I was brought up in a religious cult. I used to be a Jehovah's Witness. They told me that I was going to live in a paradise earth and all the unrighteous people are going to be destroyed at Armageddon. And the righteous will live forever. And I believe that. I listened to them gaslighting me off the stages at the Kingdom Halls. They used to tell me that. And I grew up. And then I got kicked out of it when I was 23 for having premarital sex, which was against their and I was unrepentant. So they kicked me out. I lost my family. What did I lose? My business at the time. And everyone I grew up with. And I had to start over. Now, These guys go after people with religious beliefs because they know that people want to hang on to hope. You know, the dream of a financial, this is why they have the glitz and the glamour. The dream of being, having a passive income. You know, you give somebody your money and it turns into money and you just live the lifestyle. That's what they're selling, but that's not the reality. Chris is the only one that has that lifestyle. Don't be don't be stupid. I mean, I've been doing this for 5 years. Got another lady in the chat room at the moment, Kathy. She was a victim of a romance scam. She is now an advocate of helping people not get scammed. She got her money back. She was the first person in Australia where the bank actually gave her the money back because to a romance scam, which is friggin' amazing. You just need to wake up, guys. I'm sick and tired of it. I mean, hey, look, I'm probably going to be shut down tomorrow by these lawyers, these high-flying lawyers working for the high-flying Chris, and it would just be impossible. I can assure you I've got a wall of cease and desist letters here. I'll fight the battles for you guys. Hope you've enjoyed the show today. I am actually going to do another live in a few minutes, but I'm just going to go gate crash a few Zoom meetings for my fans that are here, so I'm just going to end this meeting now. I don't know what else to say. We've had an amazing amount of comments. Please hit the thumbs up of this video if you've been watching this far. I really do appreciate it. But more importantly, if you have invested with this company, do reach out to me on dehek.com. It's not rocket science. Just let us know how much money you've invested. Share your concerns. We are approachable. We don't want you losing your money. We don't want you to hang on to hope, thinking that you're onto a good thing. It's not a personality thing. It's not me and Chris having a pissing competition. It's using those questions. All the questions that I have asked, I haven't had answered. You're the one that's got the money. You're the investor. So take your money off the platform. It shouldn't make any difference. Think about this. Chris is using your money, theoretically, to generate money on something to do with crypto. We don't know what because he doesn't say. Think about it. He's using your money to generate the returns that he's paying you. So if you took your money away from Chris, withdraw your money, would he have the money to give it back to you? And if not, why not? Because he's using your money to generate the money. But if it's so damn good, it won't make any difference to anyone. He doesn't need your money, right? So let's just say, I'm just going to be stupid. And let's say we think around about going by his figures, let's say $300 million has been given to Chris, and he's put it all into this amazing thing that everyone is doing these days, Forex trading and buying this and whatever they're doing on their website. They've got 3 little boxes that you believe he's doing with it, and he's turned that into money, and then he's paying you back. And you're all going, good on you, Chris, you're my hero. Take all that money off him. Take it away from him. Withdraw your money if you can. It won't make any difference. None at all. There's no way by you withdrawing your money from Chris that it will make any difference to him, because that money that you've deposited, he's using your money to generate the return on your investment. That's what he claims. So take it off the platform and wait and see what happens to Chris. I know what's going to happen because I've seen this time and time again. Take your money out, and if you take your money out and then Danny de Hek's wrong, then put your money back in. It's not financial advice. I'm just saying it makes no difference if it's legitimate. Why does he need to keep the circus going? Flash cars, young girlfriends, airplane flights, Rolls Royces, Lamborghinis, flash offices that he doesn't even have an office. And now he's sponsoring events with Tony Roberts. Naming rights. Something's not going down right here. And I don't think this is the real picture. We've figured out what Chris is really doing. And that will be in our next upcoming videos. We know what you're really doing, Chris. We know where the money, we know what happens with the money. We know what you're doing. See you in the next video.